Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. So yes, as you can see, I'm back in my car. I cooked last night, I did the recipe last night, and I wanted to do this video this morning, but I was running late and I didn't want to be late for work, so here I am. So the category was an action adventure book, and I chose The Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I'm praying I said that right. It's fantasy, but it's also, it's based on like a fictional West African country, and the main character is Zeli. And I'm gonna give you kind of, I feel like when it comes to like fantasy books, that a recap could end up being like an hour and a half long because there's just so many details and twists and turns, but we're not going to do that today because I'm on my way to work. Zeli lives with her father and her brother. Her mother was killed in the raid. When years ago, the king decided that he was threatened by people who could do magic, the Magi, so he ordered a raid and killed them all, including Zeli's mother. And everyone 13 and over who could do magic was killed. And he knew if you could do magic because you had white hair. That was like the sign of being the Magi. So if you were over 13, you were killed because that's when your powers developed. When they were killed, they lost their connection to their gods. So there wasn't any danger of like the younger people who were going to become Magi actually becoming Magi because the connection to the gods was gone. Which was a very interesting concept. And so Zeli is one of these people with white hair who doesn't exhibit any powers because, hello. So one day her father is kind of roughed up by the guards of the king, saying that he owes all these taxes and they don't have any money. And so Zeli they decide as a family that she has to go to the market to trade and try to earn enough money with this like really exotic fish or something to get enough money to pay off the father's debts to save his life. When she's in the market, she meets the runaway princess. And that's when we kind of go back, the chapters go back and forth between viewpoints between Zeli, her brother, the princess, and the prince. So the princess ran away because her best friend, one of the servants in the castle, who also happened to be have dark skin with white hair, she was murdered, and she was upset about that and ran away. So now she decides that she doesn't want to be part of these raids. She doesn't want to be part of this class of people that do things like this. So when the guards were searching for her and like hot on her heels, Zeli had a choice to make. She could either go ahead and sell this fish or she could help this person escape. She didn't know she was the princess. She just knew that this girl was running for her life. And against her own better judgment, she decided to help her. Okay, well, first of all, forgive me for having to put these sunglasses on, but as you can see, this sun is bright in my corneas. Okay, so I know you're wondering, what are we making today? Well, remember I mentioned the fish that they had to trade, and they mentioned a lot about the fish market. So I decided that we're gonna make a fish dish, and I chose, I'll put a little picture here, I chose honey garlic salmon. I made it last night. It was so good. So I'm gonna insert some video about how I made that. So I just took the fish out of the refrigerator, and I'm going to, we lined the pan, and I'm going to start it out with the skin side up. And then halfway through, we're going to flip it. Okay, so it looks like this might be the only way I get to talk to you. So I just want to mention, when it comes to the fish, you want to put it in for 15 to 20 minutes depending on how big the piece is. I had a pretty thick piece, so I put it in for at least 20 minutes. So you don't want to dry it out, but you definitely don't want undercooked fish. Okay, so back to the book. When the princess ran away, she stole a significant item that related to the magic of the old days. I'll just say that. When she came into contact with Zelly, something happened. As Zelly was helping her escape, she felt something. And she had a suspicion that some magic or something was going on. Like, she didn't know why. She didn't know that she was in contact with this special item. But there she was. So she goes back and she goes to a trusted person. There's an elder there, this older woman who was teaching the children how to fight. She knew that a raid or a war could be coming in the future. And what she said was, I don't know if this is an exact quote, but something like, "I teach you to be warriors in the garden, so you will never be gardeners in the war," which was one of my favorite quotes. So she goes back to this woman and shows her everything, tells her everything that happened. Once the woman realizes that Zelly has felt a spark of that magic, she realizes that there's an opportunity to reignite and reawaken this magic. And Zelly is basically sent on a quest with her brother and the princess to reconnect with the gods so that people can get in touch with their magic and then defeat the king. What they don't know is that the prince has been sent after his sister. They don't want the world to know, the kingdom to know, that she has escaped, that she's defected, and that she's stolen something of importance. So they sent the brother after her to retrieve her. So as they're on this journey, he's hunting them. And Zelly ends up going into, she gets into like some like twilighty state of mind where she and the prince are actually connecting. And I can't say why or how because I don't want to give anything away. But that was an important aspect of the story. I'll say this: I've heard a lot of different opinions about this book. I don't know how because I thought it was amazing, and I can't wait for the sequel, which I think is just out now. But I asked for an action adventure book, and I got one, and it was great. To me, the overall theme of this book seemed to be that you may have magic inside of you, just something special inside of you, and if you feel a spark or anything, you have to follow it to bring it into a reality. So anyone with a dream, this could be very inspiring. And if you've been beaten down or talked about or treated badly, you can always make a comeback. It was very inspirational, and I could see it. I really would like to see this as a movie, and I feel like I've heard something, maybe a little rumor about it actually becoming a movie. So I would be really excited to see that. So it felt very familiar to read a story where the people with the dark skin are being treated badly, and because people are afraid of how great they are, how much they can attain, and they don't want them to catch up. But when they band together and come together, they can get back in touch with their magic. So I really liked the morals in the story. There is also a little romance, 2 little romantic storylines going on. And I don't want to give anything away. And it ends in a place where there can be some debate as to what happened or what's going to happen. So I kind of like that open ending. Like I said, there is a sequel. I'll put a picture of the sequel here so you can go out and get that, because that's definitely next on my list. So let's check back in with this fish. Okay, well, I decided to flip it. It got a little messy, but it's fine. We're about halfway through, and now we're going to spoon some of the marinade over it. Okay, so now we're waiting for the fish to come out, and we're going to take the leftover marinade and we're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to let it simmer for 3 to 5 minutes. The salmon came out great, and I only ate half of it for dinner because, like I said, this was a big piece of fish. And I'm glad I can get 2 meals out of it because this fish is expensive. Why is fish so expensive? I'm going to have the leftovers for dinner tonight. I would have loved to have brought it to work for lunch, but I'm not going to be that person who heats up fish in the microwave at work. I've seen those people. I've been near those people. I don't like those people. So I'll just have it for dinner tonight. But it was so quick, as you saw. Like, it was like 5 whole ingredients, including the fish. So, and to get 2 meals out of it, it was worth it. So I will put a link to the book and a link to the recipe down below. And I definitely think that you'll walk away feeling motivated and inspired to action after reading this book. So I just want to say, have a happy Thanksgiving this week, guys. I'll be traveling down to North Carolina to be with my family. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Flavor and Fiction in my car.